about networks that I was involved in as a child or as a youth, I think about a question that Dave Dennis used to ask me a lot. Dave Dennis was a civil rights worker. He worked in Mississippi with SNCC and CORE in the 1960s, and he was a very close friend of my dad. They ran the Mississippi Summer Project in 1964 together. They later hooked up and did the Algebra Project, and so when I was working with the Algebra Project, he would love to ask me about my families and ask me to talk about family. I would always say that, I grew up in my immediate family, have a very close immediate family, two brothers and a sister, my parents. And I also grew up with an extended family, and I think that was my first, as a child, experience with networks. 8 or so families from Cambridge and Boston who banded together when I was about 6 or 7 years old or so, and they all had children who were around the same age, and they decided that they wanted to work together to help raise their children. And so this meant getting together on holidays, doing things together that helped us be aware of ourselves as young African Americans, had a history and a culture that was steeped in a tradition of struggle against injustices that we faced as a people, but also in a beautiful culture. They wanted us to be proud of our heritage, to know our history, and to have a sense of who we are. So they would get together, and we did Kwanzaa every year for years. As children, we would actually celebrate all 7 days of Kwanzaa and go around the city doing, various activities and arts and crafts and stuff. All these parents were like my aunts and uncles, and the children relied on different parents for different things, and the parents relied on each other as a network of support to help bring up all these children. And so that was my first experience, I think, with networks. I was aware of my parents being part of a network of civil rights folks, and they used to come when I was a child and visit us. We were living in Cambridge. Different people would pass through, and it was really amazing to me the depth of connection and love that they had for each other. Even if they hadn't seen each other for many, many years, they knew each other deeply. And so in that sort of informal way, I got a sense of how doing really deep and important work together can help form strong bonds and really sustain networks. Then in my young adulthood, I joined the Algebra Project, which was a network of teachers and educators and community folks who were spread out all across the country and really felt like they were part of something special and on the cutting edge of math education and education reform in the country, and operated in ways that really stemmed from the Mississippi organizing tradition of SNCC. And so I also experienced that network. So in answer to Dave's question about family, I would always say that I had my immediate family, my extended family, my movement family, which I was sort of born into as a child of civil rights activists, and then my Algebra Project family, and now my YPP family. So for me, networks have been a lot about family.